So it seems to me that I'm the only one that remembers what I used to be like. And how life used to go, and how life used to be. Did I legit hold down a career for 20 years? Sure did. Have I made some mistakes? Yes, I have. Do I deserve to pay for those mistakes for the rest of my fucking life? Not necessarily, no. Post-traumatic stress syndrome is an interesting thing. You can get it from trauma. Actually, that's basically what it's from. You can talk about it. You can shrink it, but it never completely goes away. And when it comes to complex PTSD, to the naked eye, you're fine. So what if you were to, like, relive your childhood? Only in this sense, it got worse rather than better. I'm having a pretty low night tonight, folks. And this is why I'm recording this video. Not a bad guy, not a predator. But I feel like I'm in the midst of a midlife crisis that didn't completely resolve itself. You know, in the Bible there's a saying, be sure your sins will find you out. And mine not only found me, but beat me about the head and the body. I miss someone. And she's special to me, and she always will be. Doesn't mean I can't move forward. Doesn't mean things can't change. I've been told that the first step here is therapy, so that's might be a good idea. I don't know. But I do miss her. I always like to tell people a long time ago I sold my soul to sleep with Satan's grandma, and she had pink hair and 4 kids. I'm kidding. I feel like I have to break this cycle for one simple reason. Well, many actually, but one in particular. I've got this teensy tiny little voice in the back of my head that says, you can't make it anymore. You're smart. The core is still there, but there's just too much rotten fruit to deal with. The rotten fruit being the trauma and all the other shit. But do I have trauma? That is the key. As long as I don't get triggered and stay out of stress, am I okay? And when I stay out of places like this and stay reasonably stabilized and things aren't too stressful for me, well, I mean, see, and that's the thing too. People with PTSD like reliving the same thing over and over and over again because it somehow calms them down because that becomes normal to them. So, essentially, is that why I've been stuck in this rut for as long as I have? And do I hate a part of me that shouldn't really even be hated but embraced? For that would probably help me get out of the current predicament that I seem to find myself in. I'm not perfect. And no one out there, well, anybody out there knows that I've never claimed to be. But narcissism and sociopathy, you know, that's not me. And even if it was me, did you know that, you know, a lot of narcissists are not inherently evil? And the things that they do are primarily, even though it hurts others, out of validation and insecurities. And I have an overabundance of both of those. I'm reminded of that Cher song right about now. If I could turn back time. Yeah, that was crappy. But look at it this way. I can't turn back time. I've got to go forward. And I feel, in a no small sense, more stable now than I have in years. Just a question of, will this last or will I head downhill? Or are my parents completely different people than I originally thought they were? Especially, well, speaking of which, I'm getting all these interesting notions and thoughts about my actual mother, not the mother that, I put some feelings on, but the actual mother. And the question then becomes, what if I'm right? What if I am correct? That would be really weird, wouldn't it? And for those out there in YouTube land, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't have much friends growing up. I didn't do the whole socialization thing. See, my socialization consisted of violent movies. And I thought that's who a man was because that's who my father was, my father figure. So he told me I was to be the man of the house, so all I watched was violent movies. Therefore, when I got older, I didn't have proper experience with women, so every single woman became that lost love, and I'm going to get her back, and the end of the movie is going to be so great. This is not a movie, mind you, kids, but I guess all this, even though I've got a surgery that I have to probably go through, and a few other things, I needed this life experience, this socialization, this lesson in human nature, so that I could perhaps be a decent partner to that one woman that might be waiting around the corner for me. And I did have that dream about all my exes in a row, and I'm tied to the conveyor belt, and I'm talking to Dr. No, only Dr. No is Mrs. No, and I'm saying, Dr. No, what do you want from me? And she says, Mr. Bond, I want you to finally commit, or I want you to marry, or whatever. And I look up, and they're all sitting in a row, and I grab the one right in the back, the one that's facing away, and she turns around and she doesn't have a face. And she says, you know me. And I said, really? And she said, you know me. And one day I will show you my face. That's a very interesting psychological dream. Like maybe I've turned that corner and I'm finally ready to commit and be a husband and be like a decent father figure and a man material kind of thing, I guess, to the right woman. Maybe before I wasn't. Maybe before a lot of opportunities knocked on the door. Mind you, dysfunction attracts dysfunction. And it also could very well be that I attracted very many different dysfunctional women. I know I've dated the BPD pool, the NPD pool, and the ASP pool. ASPD, I should say. So, realistically, I need to find that one woman that's fairly stable. Either that or she knows who she is and she knows how to control her worse tendencies and is career orientated and doesn't get off on sitting on the couch and overfeeding her cat and various and sundry other things. I can't take that crap anymore, seriously. Like, I've had to work on myself. I expect somebody that's on my level, not somebody that's off in Neverland. I'm very ambitious, I'm career-orientated, and I'm very intelligent, and I will get the job done here, so I need somebody that's, like, right up there with me, not about 6 steps down. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say here. Good night there, YouTubers, and see you later.